What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Culture Shock, the show reminding you that the pandemic is pretty much over. But you know, Democrats, they don't want it to be. They want it to slowly extend this out to July 4th. If you didn't hear that from Biden over the weekend, or I'm sorry, not over the weekend, over, I think it was Thursday when he gave his speech, then you're not really paying attention. What's up, everybody? This is not going to be a very long video. I actually wanted to do this video to test out my new microphone to see how well it works. So far, it has worked well on other things that I've recorded, just playing around with it. I just wanted to kind of put out some more content for my Culture Shock videos because I haven't really been on my game with that, and I do apologize. There's a lot going on between my 3D printing, my manga, and my actual day job. So I'm coming at you Sunday night, March 14th. It is now daylight savings time. It came quickly. I know we lost a year, but I mean, damn, did this come quickly. Longer days. Hey, what can you do? So there's a lot going on. Gas prices are up. People are still freaking out over other people not wearing their masks. And as far as I'm concerned, we are living through the apocalypse. Yeah, I don't really know what to say here. I mean, every week there's something either canceled, the Democrats are saying something wild, Republicans aren't getting a backbone, and it's just like we're fighting for our culture here, and it doesn't seem as though either side is winning. I would have to say that the leftists are winning because, I mean, they canceled Dr. Seuss. They tried to get rid of Mr. Potato Head. Pepe Le Pew is apparently a symbol of rape culture. He's a fucking cartoon. But, you know, that's where we live today, and it's just completely bonkers where we're at in society. But before we get started on this quick story, go ahead, like and subscribe to the channel. We're doing a lot, at least I'm doing a lot. I'm trying to keep up with everything. My last video was basically a whole run through of the week's events, and it was about a 30-40 minute video. I'm going to try to get back down to my usual 10 to 15 minutes per video, which means I'm going to have to be out cranking a lot of videos for you guys. But in order for me to do that, I need you to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, don't hit the dislike button, and of course, leave a comment with your thoughts. And I love reading other people's comments because we don't think the same. We enjoy other people's opinions. But if you come at me or anybody else in the comment section with a shitty opinion, hey, I can't control that. I can't control it, but I can't control what other people might say. Yeah. All right, let's get right into it, guys. So there is a crisis at the border. There's a huge crisis at the border. Now, President Biden, the Democrats, they won't call it a crisis. You know, I'm old enough to remember when they were saying that there were concentration camps at the border, that they were keeping children in cages. Even AOC went down and took some pictures. Where's AOC now? They have said that the number of migrant children that have been at the border has tripled in the last 2 weeks. But you see, they won't give you that number. The White House Press Secretary, Jen Psaki, circle back lady, whatever her name is, doesn't even want to acknowledge that there is a crisis on the border. In fact, she's calling it a challenge. Yes. I wonder what the media would have said if Trump said, oh, it's a challenge. It's a challenge at the border. You know what kind of challenge it is? It's a really big challenge, but nonetheless, it's a challenge. They would have raked them over the coals. And of course, Joe Biden isn't saying anything about what's going on at the border. In fact, they will go as far as to say that they are, what was the term? They called it a overflow facility. And those facilities are what Trump used during his administration. But those facilities were also built by the Obama-Biden administration. So again, my job here is to point out the double standard here, clearly. But, you know, it's a game. When you're a politician, it's the game. Who can make who look worse? Just look at Andrew Cuomo. He's being attacked by 6 different women. But the real scandal there isn't the sexual assault. It is actually the COVID death that he under-tallied, that he undercounted or, you know, played with the books and didn't really give us the real numbers of the death. But we all knew that New York was getting walloped. But, you know, it's politics, because if Democrats come out and say that the COVID death was Cuomo's fault, then they'll be raked over the coals because they trotted this dude out all last year as being the best governor. He wrote a book. They gave him a daytime Emmy, sorry. And yeah, now they're finding out that his numbers probably weren't right. Okay, so this is politics. This is how it's played. I don't agree with it. I think people should be as honest as possible. Otherwise, where can we move as a society? Speaking of being as honest as possible, a new article dropped and everybody is just going after it. Washington Post, New York Times, New York Post, whatever. Pelosi blames Trump for border crisis. Says Biden inherited broken system. You know what? Trump inherited a few broken systems himself. I don't know if the media ever pointed out that he blamed Obama for it. I'm sure he did, but it wasn't really much of a big deal because, I mean, Trump pretty much undid everything that, well, not everything, pretty much everything that Obama did. All right. But, the Democrats just can't let go of Trump. They took away his Twitter, social media. They don't even want him on TV anymore. And somehow he's still in the mix. You just got to, just put that the Trump juice in your veins, because without it, Democrats are just pretty much, they're done. Without COVID, without Joe Biden talking about we can't get back together with our families until July 4th, without COVID, without any type of crisis, without Trump, Democrats really don't have anything to play on. People are starting to wake up to the whole intersectionality that they're playing, the game here, that you have to be a part of a group and it's us versus them. People are starting to wake up to that shit because it's what they're calling socialist Marxism, which is instead of breaking people down by working class, they're breaking people down based on their social groups. And that's usually how those systems are kind of being broken down if you look back at what's going on. So let's get into this article from the Daily Wire. I'm not going to read it all, but I just want to point out the huge hypocrisy here that, now they're calling it a crisis, but they're only using crisis because Trump is somehow shoehorned in the same sentence. That's the only reason why that is pretty much a thing here. So this is from the Daily Wire. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but you guys can read the article in the description below. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi on Sunday blamed former President Trump for the current crisis at the U.S. border, saying that President Biden inherited a broken system from the previous administration. This is a humanitarian challenge to us all. Funny, that word challenge is popping up. Trump wanted to sit down with the Democrats and figure out a immigration policy that would benefit both U.S. citizens and immigrants, if I remember correctly. And, Democrats didn't really want to do that. So, yeah, this is why they're going to lose the House and the Senate in 2022. If you didn't vote this last election, then 2022, when it comes to midterms, especially in California, because I saw the gas prices in California, you guys are borderline $6 a gallon over in East LA. If that's okay with you, then fine, don't vote. But hey, people, wake up. Wake up. You have a corpse in the White House who doesn't know what he's doing. All right. And it's funny, you haven't really heard from Kamala Harris. At least I haven't, any interviews or press conferences. So that's interesting. But anyways, continuing with the article. What the administration has inherited is a broken system at the border, and they are working to correct that in the children's interest, she said, adding the Biden administration is affecting a transition from what was wrong before to what is right. I'm sorry, but before Trump left, there wasn't a flock of migrant children or any type of children at the border, any type of immigrants. To my understanding, it was basically a clear shot. Nothing was going on down there. Then Biden came in office, said, hey, we don't have any borders anymore. Come on down. And all these people just decided to go down there and, try and flood the system. But this is what Democrats want, because if they let these people in, they get more votes from these people, et cetera, et cetera. This has been happening for literally decades. If you don't know how the game is played, because nobody likes Democratic policies. You can say you do, but deep down, you probably don't like them if you fully understand what the policies are. If nothing is free. Nothing is free. People are saying that, people like the new stimulus package because they're giving us free money. And it's like, that's why, because it's free. But it's not really free. You pretty much paid about 40 to 50% of taxes and only got back 2%. Technically, that's your money. So nothing's ever free. Somebody had to pay for it, mainly us taxpayers. So please learn how economics work, ladies and gentlemen. Pelosi added that she is so pleased that Biden has sent the Federal Emergency Management Agency to the border to help handle the influx of migrants. Oh, I bet he is. On Saturday, the Department of Homeland Security ordered FEMA to assist border authorities for the next 90 days and help receive shelter and transport the children who have crossed the U.S. illegally. The number of children detained at the border has tripled to a record high since Biden was sworn in, with close to 4,000 migrant children currently in Border Patrol custody due to the high numbers of children currently showing up at the border. Some children have been kept in Border Patrol custody longer than the maximum of 72 hours. The House Speaker also mentioned that climate change, I got to read this, climate change has played a role in the surge of migrants at the border, saying that droughts in Central American countries have spurred migrants to make the journey north to the U.S. border. Now, I'm not one of those climate change deniers, right? But climate change has been happening since this planet has started. As a species on this planet, yes, we have sped it up, yes, but it's nothing as drastic and it's nothing as a big deal, in my opinion, that Democrats are making it out to be. Again, climate change isn't a political thing, or it shouldn't be a political issue, because of all the things that Democrats have proposed, most of them would probably kill a lot of people versus actually helping the planet get better. All right. And if you really want to talk about climate change, how the world is heating up, yeah, the planet is heating up, but Texas was just buried under ice for about 2 weeks, a month ago, or a couple weeks ago. So I don't know, climate change, Texas under ice. Technically, folks, we're still coming out of an ice age, so I really don't know why this is such a talking point, but it's whatever grabs the attention. Climate change is a big political issue right now, political being in quotation marks, and that's what Democrats are going to try and play at here. Again, I'm not denying science or anything. I think climate change is a problem, but the way Democrats are proposing we fix it is not going to help in the long run. They're going to decrease the internal temperature of the planet by what, less than a degree over the next 20, 30 years? All based on the spinning that they want to do? No. Go back to the drawing boards, come up with a new solution. I propose nuclear power, clean and efficient. That's just me. All right. There are many reasons to go into this, but the fact is we have to deal with it at the border, Pelosi said. Representative Veronica Escobar, a Democrat representing the El Paso area, also blamed the Trump administration's hardline immigration policies for the crisis at the border. Yeah, because there wasn't a crisis at the border when Trump left, but Biden said, hey, we're open for business, folks, come on down. And that's where all these people came from. Doesn't take a rocket scientist to fucking figure that out. You can go back and watch the speech that he said. We're open. We're not going to deny anybody. You guys are free to come here. That's literally along the lines of what he said. So that's like, if you open up a hotel and say we're open for business, all the rooms are free, what do you think is going to happen? You're going to get a flood of people trying to get in those rooms. Duh. This is not something that happened as a result of Joe Biden becoming president. Yes, it was. Stop lying. Escobar said CNN on Sunday. Yeah, that's a lie. So, because she said CNN. So, complete another lie. We saw the increases dating back almost a year, and this was during the Trump administration. Really? You're going to have to pretty much explain to me the numbers here, okay? What we are seeing today is the consequence of 4 years of dismantling every system in place to address with this humanity and compassion, Escobar added. Nearly 30,000 unaccompanied minors crossed the southern border in February, close to the total number of unaccompanied minors who crossed that last year. February, close to the total number of unaccompanied. Okay, so a year ago, same amount of people. Meanwhile, more than 100,000 people were apprehended crossing the border illegally last month, an increase of 28% from January. Meanwhile, Biden has scrapped several of Trump administration's border policies, including Remain in Mexico policy, which requires that migrants seeking asylum in the U.S. cross back over the border and wait in Mexico until the immigration court date. Republican Senator Bill Cassidy from Louisiana, said Sunday that Biden administration shoulders the blame entirely for the border crisis and warned that the current situation is dangerous for migrant children, as he should. Yes. When people they think can get in, they begin sending their unaccompanied child across Mexico, where she may be kidnapped and trafficked, Cassidy said on Fox News. Now, again, this is pretty much the whole argument here. Child sex trafficking is a really big problem. And if you still think that that's not a problem, all I have to say is that Jeffrey Epstein didn't kill himself. Okay. The White House has so far eschewed calling the situation at the border a crisis. Yes, they have not yet called it a crisis. It is, as far as they're concerned, a challenge. The Daily Wire is one. Okay, so we're done with this article. If you want to go down there and read it for yourself, this is from the Daily Wire, an excellent news source. And I'm sure if you go and read it from the New York Times or any place else, they're going to give you a slightly different story because those news outlets are pretty much left-leaning bias against Trump. So, take it or leave it. It is what you say. But that's all I got for you guys. That's all it is. I mean, we're going into another week. We're more than 50 days in. Biden has spent $1.9 trillion, in my opinion, that was unneeded. Just fucking open up this country. Open up. Let people go back to work. Let people go back to their businesses, okay? The economy was booming before COVID, and guess what? It's going to start booming again after COVID. But now with this $1.9 trillion bill that you just passed, it's kind of questionable now. So we'll see what happened. The dollar is not your friend after this whole debacle. And of course, he signed over 50 executive orders, and none of which these reporters seem to be asking about. Instead, they're asking about why did Joe Biden's dog bite a Secret Service agent, and how is the White House cat? Everything is so unbelievably stupid. Just everything. All right, folks, that's it for today's episode. I told you I was going to keep it short, so here you are. I'm working with my new microphone. Let me know how it sounds. If you guys can hear anything in the background, any type of background noises or anything like that. It was a pretty penny, but I think it's a real good investment on my part. So please, again, like, subscribe to the channel. Please let me know what you guys thought about this video, and I will be back at you guys later on this week with another episode of Culture Shock. If you have not checked out my 3D printing adventures video, I just did one here going over the two printers that I have, the Artillery Sidewinder and the Anet A8 Plus. I'm working on getting my third printer, the Creality CR10 Max, and I'll be going over what I just printed this weekend pretty soon. So, yeah. Guys, subscribe. There's a lot of cool stuff coming. I can't stress that enough. All right, folks, I will see you guys next time on another episode of Culture Shock. And please, it's Monday. I know we're about to see some wild shit, but just keep in mind, please, that in 4 days, the Snyder Cut of Justice League is coming out. All right, folks, 4 hours of awesomeness. I will see you guys next time on Culture Shock. Have fun, enjoy your week, and don't kill or burn anything down. Adios.